is Boltz 9.58 in Berlin. This is the start, and just look at the frontal plane movement. So there's just a lot of side-to-side movement going on. This isn't something that I think you could describe as an energy leak if this is the fastest time ever. So not the only example, got quite a few examples of it. This is Bolt in training. Not offering this as proof of anything, but it just naturally, there's this fair amount of side-to-side movement. And this doesn't seem to me to be a bracing or you know, an effort to mitigate energy leaks or anything like that. This naturally just seems to be the way he moves. This is Donovan Bailey in Atlanta. And I think this is quite a good example because this is actually the point where he goes from being quite far behind to overtaking Frankie Fredericks. And you can see again, there's just a lot of ancillary movement. There's a lot of rotational movement, a lot of side-to-side movement. And this is the same moment in the race, more or less. And again, you can see there's a lot of rotational movement. If you look at Frankie Fredericks, who won the silver medal, he's moving just about as much. So I just think that these are pretty important assessments. I think if you can see something happening at the higher level, and I think you need to question, like, why is there an emphasis on minimizing these things or restricting these things? Because they seem to be happening quite a lot at the highest level.
Do you think if there wasn't as much upper body movement, would they be faster in that race at that time with their conditioning at that moment?
Yeah, because
this is, if it'd be faster or not.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens if you listen to the commentators and you listen to a lot of the coaches. There's a lot of things that come out and it will be, if only he'd done this, if only he'd done that. And I didn't really question that narrative for a long time. But if you think about the advantages you get from a point of view of producing torque, rather than trying to produce energy in a straight line, if you think about the rotational qualities of a lot of these movements, if you think about the angle of pronation of the muscles, like a lot of these muscles that are the bigger, more important muscles actually have a transverse orientation. And it's something that, you know, kids just do. And I've been in situations where I've found the fastest kids I've got are the ones that need the most correction in the traditional model. And then when you look at what's happening in the final third, they seem to be reflecting it too. So that is what people say. That does seem to be conventional wisdom, but I've yet to see evidence of it on the track. And the more races I look at, and the faster people that, you know, I observe, there does seem to be like a commonality with this. You know, whether they're top track athletes or top running backs, you know, they seem to have like these commonalities of movement. But yeah, I mean, I would have thought that for a long time, and that is the current narrative. You go and look at a lot of these like arguments and a lot of these like you know, a lot of the information we get, whether it comes back from like Mann's book in the 80s or whether it comes from, you know, any paper, the diagrams tell a great story, but it's not the same story as we seem to be getting on the track. I mean, this is another example. And I spoke to someone who, you know, I respect a great deal, who was talking about how awful Marion Jones's form became. This is, I think this is fairly early on. This is, I think she'd just come back from basketball, and she was racing Merlinotti in this race. And, you know, this is a very, very, very fast person. So theoretically, in an ideal world, like, yeah, maybe if she wasn't doing this, she could run faster. But in the world we're living in, 6 out of 8 people in this race are running like that. And, the 2 who aren't, they're coming last. These are really rotational events. The fact we put someone in the lane doesn't change that.